Hey everyone, welcome back to Crypto Cash. Thank you for joining me here. Hope you're having a fantastic day. Let's take a quick look at XRP to see what's going on. We can recognize this descending trend. Did effectively break to the upside with this descending wedge breakout. Keep in mind, folks, these kind of breakouts, they're not happening because of the descending wedge. That's simply a contributing factor to the overall simple sense that the market has recovered temporarily. Please recognize that. Bitcoin's doing pretty well right now. I think we are due to correct a little bit, but we also might pump first before that happens. So if you saw my Bitcoin video, you'll know what I'm talking about, but XRP is following suit like most altcoins, where it pumped up pretty hard, but now it's aggressively pulling back because we can see Bitcoin dominance is still quite high. All right, so Bitcoin dominance continues to increase, and in turn, we're seeing that significant continuation. And just know that anytime Bitcoin dominance goes up and the price of Bitcoin goes up, altcoins typically go down. So I do think we are due to correct a little bit here for altcoins. I'm just kind of mentioning that. I'm not saying that XRP is going to drop to the ground floor. I'm just kind of, giving you some food for thought there, so you know more specifically why things are happening the way they are. It's not very an exact science, but generally speaking, money's flowing into Bitcoin right now, and in order for that to happen, for the most part, money flows away from altcoins. Okay, unless a lot of new stable coins coming in, but that's a different story altogether. So let's take a look here. Back in liquidation data, we can see 220 to 225 is kind of a heavier concentration here locally. And then of course, 230, 235, it's pretty much sparse all the way up here. It's spread out pretty well. But for the most part, you can see high leverage shorts at 220, low leverage shorts at 240. That's kind of the difference there. Me personally, I generally, if I were to short or take a long, honestly, I'm almost always low leverage. Okay, Bitcoin's the only thing I ever use higher leverage on, and that's only 10x, and I basically adjust my margins accordingly, just because I like to secure profits quicker on that coin. All that being said, liquidation delta is still very bearish. So you don't want to take a long end of this. This is not really a great situation. This kind of implies that most people are short biased still, with good reason, because this coin is kind of on its way down still, at least from a descending type of macro trend line. Having said that, we're in the middle of a range here. We can see some support at 206 to 208 and resistance at 218 to 225. Those are just kind of the areas and the ranges that we've talked about previously, being fairly strong. In other words, you can see the price moving up to its local point of control here within this range about 218 and rejecting out there. That's pretty much par for the course. So let's take a look at the macro trend. Here's what I was referring to here as far as the overall sentiment. I'm not just throwing shade at this coin. I'm telling you legitimately we're seeing lower highs and lower lows pretty consistently. And at this point here, we've seen parallel lows. 1, 2, 3 attempts to break that $2 mark. Hasn't happened yet, but I tell you what, folks, the more you test something, the more likely it is to break. And that's just kind of what we're seeing here so far at this point. Overall, not fantastic. The macro still looks terrible. There's nothing to see here that's remotely positive. Keep in mind, most altcoins are looking the same. This is nothing against this coin. It's just kind of the trend right now for the market. But this coin does have a bit more of an aggressive pullback because of how aggressive it came up, if you will. Remember, we got some fundamental news to push it from like the $1 range to the $2 plus range. And ever since then, it's been struggling to break, that 350 mark. So either way you look at it here, bearish on the daily, the 4-hour time frame, should be remotely bullish, at least tentatively, which actually it's not. I'm totally wrong there. And the reason I presume that is because most other altcoins have broken above 50 in the RSI, specifically Bitcoin, kind of letting us know that tentatively back on track on the shorter time frames. This coin not exhibiting that behavior. Does that mean you just short right now at this level? Probably not, but it does also imply that you want to be careful taking a long, just because the simple fact that we got a lot of resistance above us with that point of control open interest range. So 4-hour time frame from a momentum standpoint looks good, but from a support and resistance level and overall oscillator indication, it's not looking great. So having said that, let's just take a quick look here, and we can see a pretty obvious resistance range for us here at about 220. In fact, you can see the price wicked up to 220 and rejected roughly 7-8 hours ago. So the reason why this is relevant is because this is that local range. So we're stuck in this local range here. Until we get it back up over 220, there's no real reason to consider taking a long position with this coin. To me, it just seems very ridiculous to consider a long until we get there, based on the simple fact that it's a key level resistance. We've seen it tested multiple times. Till we break above it, we can presume the price will be stuck in its current range. Good news is here locally, ever since we've been, 3 days ago, since Friday, ever since we've been in this range, from, what is it? Sorry, I clicked the wrong button there. From 205 to about 220. We can see there's a lot of volume at 212 where the price is at right now. So hypothetically, we see a bounce from here. And it looks a little something like this, right? The price continues higher up. So that's kind of where we're at there. Overall, not fantastic, but it is what it is for the moment. I would just urge caution in taking a long. If you take a long or you insist on it, low leverage, low position size, I do personally still feel we're going to see 86 to 87K from Bitcoin. If that happens, some altcoins could continue higher. But for the most part, we're starting to see that natural capitulation where altcoins are pulling back, Bitcoin's going sideways and up, and it's just kind of standard because Bitcoin dominance is too high for the moment, okay? So I'll post a playout chart here soon. I actually provide a crypto update daily that talks about those things, touches on those, so feel free to check that out. Also be sure to reference our Twitter, Telegram, and Discord. I've got a lot of trade alerts and different scenarios here that are relevant and important for you to know. So it's all there for you if you want it. Just feel free to enable alerts and message me if you have any questions. If you want to become part of our Trading Academy community or signals group, jump on over. We took some nice profits here on our AVAX trade. We had to adjust our take profit target there to ensure we got in the green. Previous to that, though, we have seen a decent amount of profit from our Bitcoin, previous Bitcoin shorts and XRP shorts. So it's been a pretty decent little situation. It's slow and steady though, folks. We're not we're not monumentally raking in the cash. We're just consistently doing so, but it's smaller amounts because the market is so nonsensical right now. It doesn't make a ton of sense to take large position sizes right now. Trust me, folks, it's not a good call. All right, I hope that you learned something today. Thanks so much for your time. We'll see you in the next one. Take care.